matrices. Okay, the first thing you have to know about matrices is we cannot multiply just any matrix times any other matrix. There's one rule we have to check out before we can multiply matrices. So this should say multiply matrices, not multiplication. Okay. How about multiplying? So to be able to multiply matrices, the number of columns in the first matrix must equal the number of rows in the second matrix. So if we had two matrices, and we wanted to find A times B, matrix A times matrix B. And let me give you the dimensions of matrix A. Matrix A is a 1 by 2. And matrix B is a 2 by 3. Now this we can do. And what you're going to do every time is you're going to look to see, do the number of columns of the first one match the number of rows in the second one? So if that is a yes, then you can actually do the multiplication. Otherwise, it's not possible. Now, the even cooler thing about this is the resultant matrix. What does that mean? The answer. Good. Will be the outsides, a 1 by 3. So that helps us to know that we're doing it right. Okay, so let's take these same two matrices, A and B, and let's do it in the other order, B times A. So if we put B first, it's a 2 by 3. And if we put A second, it's a 1 by 2. This time, the number of columns of the first one does not equal the number of rows in the second one. So can I multiply them?
No.
All right, this is not possible. Which tells us a really cool thing about matrix multiplication. Unlike multiplication of real numbers, where 2 times 5 is equal to 5 times 2, when we multiply matrices, A times B does not have to equal B times A. Very seldom will it equal. There's one special case, and we're going to explore that tomorrow. All right. So let's actually come up with a matrix A. So matrix A, we said, had 1 row and 2 columns. I'm going to just pick some small numbers, 2, -1. And we'll let matrix B is going to be 2 rows and 3 columns. So we go 1, 0, 2, -3, 1, -2. Now, we know our answer will have how many rows? 1 row and 3 columns. So when we know when we do A times B, it's going to have 1 row, but we're going to have 1, 2, 3 columns. So that's what we know the answer looks like. So now let's do it. When we do A which in this case is the matrix negative 2, 1, times B, which is 1, 0, 2, negative 3, 1, negative 2. The process is not hard, but it can seem a little tedious. All right, so what we do is we're going to take the first row of this matrix and multiply it by the first column of that one. So, this one right here, I've got a 2 and a 1, and that's the first thing I do. I multiply the first one here with the first one there. 2 times 1 is 2, plus, then I add the second one here with the second one here. Negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. So when we do multiplying matrices, we are finding the sum of the products of each row of the first one times each column of the second one.
No, why wouldn't we do like 2 times 1 and 2 times negative? Is that just how it is?
This is just how it is, yeah. All right, the next one. Now we're going to do this with this. So first row, second column gives us position 1, 2. So 2 times 0 is 0, plus negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Finally, we're going to do this with this. This row with this column. 2 times 2 is 4. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. So the resultant matrix is just one row with 3 columns. The first number is a 5, because this gives us 5. The second number is negative 1. And the third number is 6. Okay, we're going to do a couple of examples and then I'm going to let you guys work. All right, so let's say we had this will be our first matrix. That's supposed to be a 0. Now it looks like theta. We're going to use theta in the next little unit. There we go. Okay, so every time, this is what I want you thinking. How many rows does the first one have? 1. By how many columns? 3. So that's the dimensions of the first one. What are the dimensions of the second one? 3 by 1. Are these two equal? Yes, so we can do it. We can do it. And my answer, my resultant matrix, will be a 1 by 1. That means it's going to be one number. Weird. Okay, so we know when we're done, we just get one little number. So we're going to do this row and that column. And that's it. We've got one row with one column. So 1 times 0 is 0. 7 times 2 is 14. 3 times -1 is -3. It's the sum of the products. So what does that equal? 11. Now, could I reverse this one?
Yeah.
Could I do it like this? And do 0, 2, -1, and 1, 7, 3? Yes, I can. Because this is the 3 by 1, and this is the 1 by 3, and those two in the middle still match, don't they? But what's my answer going to look like? It's going to be a 3 by 3, which sounds hard, but it's not. Because if you look at it, and we do row 1 times column 1, that's it. 0 times 1, 0. Row 1 times column 2, 0. Row 1 times column 3, 0. Now we do row 2. Row 2 times column 1, 2. Row 2 times column 2, 14. Row 2 times column 3, 6. And then we get -1, -7, -3. All right, last one for me. I'm going to do a 2 by 3. Two rows, 3 columns. Now I'm going to do a 3 by 2. So this is 3 by 2. Is it possible?
Yeah.
Yes, because those are the same. What will the dimensions of the resultant matrix be?
2 by 2.
It's 2 by 2. So, it's going to get smaller. Weird. All right. I'm going to show the work here and then just do the little answer right there. Okay, so we do row 1 times column 1. So I get -8 plus 1 plus 0. Row 1 times column 1. -8 plus 1 plus 0. Do you see it? All right. Now we're going to stick with row 1, but now we're going to do column 2. Row 1 with column 2. So it's -16, -4, plus 3. All right. Now we move on down. Row 2. Go back to column 1. Row 2 with column 1. We get 0 plus 2 plus 0.
At this time, I need everyone to go to their 7th period classroom, and we will dismiss from there. The bell will ring at 3:45. At this time, I need everyone to go to their 7th period classroom. Thank
That's
you.
for all the 9th graders that are testing, or anybody that's testing. All right, now we'll do row 2 with column 2, and we get 0, minus 8, plus 5. All right, so this gives us -7 for position entry 1, 1. -20 plus 3 is -17 for entries 1, 2. For entry 2, 1, we get 2. And for entry 2, 2, it is -3. Any questions on multiplying? All right, it just takes a little practice. And sometimes I just do my fingers going right across. I go boom, boom, boom. And I do boom, boom, boom. And then boom, boom, boom. And then do it again. You don't have to say the boom part. Unless you feel like it. Yeah. Now everybody's coming up with their own little boom, boom beat. I got you. Okay. Your homework is on the back of your other homework.